please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Very good morning. Welcome to Chartbusters. Well, the Nifty is struggling to hold in the green. We have moved into the red. We're virtually at the low point of the day. Mangalam, what a challenge for the bulls. In Friday's trading session, the bears went home with all the glory. And in fact, it's a Monday morning and it's red on the screen. The good part is, though, we're above the lows that we saw in Friday's trading session. I'm just searching for some positives. And also, Mangalam, it's expiry week. But if you take a look at the options data, well, we're down by around 27 points. But both the puts, that's the 10,000 put, the 9,900 put as well, the premium there isn't moving up. In fact, it's getting eroded as well. So I think there is some sense that maybe, in fact, we can hold on at least to the 9,900 to around 9,950 level for a couple of days. But never say never. You don't know what happens from here. But it appears that at least the 9,900 put, that is seeing some writing. The premium is down by around 20% odd. And in fact, the Nifty is down nearly around 30 points odd.
Absolutely, Nigel, but also need to keep in mind that this is a truncated week, so maybe some time value is getting eroded out there as well. So the 10,000 put, as we speak, has close to around, 55 lakh shares in open interest. So if we do not fail to cross that, or that doesn't hold for too long, we'll have to see a lot of these guys unwinding their positions, maybe a bit of a pressure out there. But the two things that we always speak about at the top of the show, it is the red and the green lines. And now they are far apart. Remember, Friday they were fighting. Today, they probably would have spoken on the weekend or something of that sort, and then open with the green line on top. But then again, those fights have resumed. They're at the widest end of today's trading session so far. So let's keep an eye out on how that pans out. First up, all the top stories that we're tracking at this point in time. The oil marketing companies, they reel under pressure in trade as Brent crude posts its best weekly gain in 8 months after prices surge to $70 a barrel. The rally, remember, was aided by comments from the Saudi energy minister stressing on coordinated supply cuts into 2019.
And India Bulls Real Estate is in focus as the company has executed an agreement with global private equity investor Blackstone Group to divest 50% stake in its prime commercial properties in Mumbai for around 4,750 crore rupees.
Tata Power to sell 40% stake in Panaton Finvest and 4.7% stake in Tata Communications to Tata Sons for a total of 2155 crore rupees.
And JP Infra is in focus as sources tell CNBC TV18 that banks allege bids placed for JP Infratech are undervaluing the company's assets. They may ask for all players to relook at their offers to stay in the race. Additionally, JP associates gains as it comes out of the F&O ban.
Cadila, that stock gains in trade after launching the authorized generic drug Aloxi in the US of A in agreement with Helsinn Health. It's an important launch as the company had guided for a few significant launches in the near term, and it's sticking by its guidance.
All right, then let's take stock of the situation. Well, a few stocks. Bajaj Auto should come up for you in the screen. That's seen some selling pressure. You have Adani Ports as well. That slipped in the last few minutes, so just keep an eye out on a couple of these counters. Even Wipro has seen some selling pressure. So that explains why, in fact, the Nifty is seeing some selling. But even from the broader market, some of these PSU banking stocks, they continue to get whacked. Andhra Bank, Indian Bank. Let's pull up the intraday charts today. Even something like a Share Infra, I think the intraday chart of that stock as well should come up for you on the screen. There is some selling that's evident on all those stocks. So some of these mid-cap stocks, they're getting a harder hit in trade today. But let's find out, how do you trade the Nifty? Ashwani Gujral joins us. Hey Ashwani, good morning. Well, in the morning you had a short call on the Nifty. I think you have a target of around 9,920 odd. Holding on to that trade, Ashwani?
See, the good thing today is that you got a bit of a rally in the morning and that could have been used to sell. In this sort of a strong downtrend, I think the pressure on the market will remain unless it's able to sustain above certain levels. That probably is Friday's high, 10,040, 10,050, thereabouts. And, after the early morning choppiness is over, now we can see that stocks have begun declining. I think State Bank, ICICI Bank were doing their part to hold up the bank Nifty. I think those guys are likely to give up ground fairly soon. Today, NIT Tech is coming off, even while a few large IT stocks are going up. So eventually, even the mid-cap IT is coming under pressure. So that's also a place to get short. Metals are having a particularly horrid day. So even there, you could sell oil sensitives, HP, BP, Jet Airways, etc. So there's lots on the downside. And on the upside, as we keep discussing, this year is a consumption year. So anything consumption will kind of hold up. But the bigger gains are on the downside. Having said that, JSPL is a sell with a stop of 217, target of 205. Hindalco is a sell with a stop of 207, target of 194. And VIP Industries a buy with a stop of 314, target of 332.
All right, interesting that you have a buy on VIP Industries. We had the management on Friday itself said that the strong aviation growth bodes well for travel companies, including the travel luggage companies. But Ashwani, two stocks that come onto my radar right now as we speak. Just Dial, that one's at the low point of the day after having a fairly weak start to this year. In fact, it has been weak over the last few months itself. Do you think there is further downside there? And secondly, United Breweries, that one is at the low point of the day, ahead of summer, ahead of Nigel, your Lent getting over. You think United Breweries will find some support at these levels or further downside for this beer company?
See, Just Dial has underperformed in the entire mid-cap IT rally.
Right.
So I don't think it's quite in that league anymore, and we should see 365, 370 in the days to come. Meanwhile, UBL strangely is now breaking its 200-day moving average. So somewhere that rally which started from 800 right up to 1200, that's getting over. I think initial support will probably come around 840, 850, but for the last few sessions looking extremely weak.
All right, but Ashwani, as you said, I guess the consumption story is strong on United Breweries. Then
you end this week. Are you going to consume a lot of these products during the weekend?
No, I'm a teetotaler. But anyway,
you're a teetotaler for this month.
At the end of this week is when the Lent comes to an end. So I'll be looking at some of those United Breweries. I've been only tracking Ashwani's tweets for the time being.
All right. So on that note, I'll say cheers to both Ashwani and Nigel while I sit with my glass of milk from one of these companies.
Boring.
Well, your call. But on that note, let's move on to some global opinion now. Nobel winner Robert Shiller warns of an economic crisis emanating from the trade war threats. Speaking exclusively to CNBC, he adds that businesses could take a wait-and-see approach to increased trade tensions between the US and China. Listen in. We'll be back after a short break, only on Chartbusters.
Immediate thing will be an economic crisis because these enterprises are built on long-term planning. They've developed a skilled workforce and ways of doing things that we have to rediscover these things in whatever country, after the imports are cut off. And it's just chaos. It will slow down development in the future if people think that this kind of thing is likely. If you go back to the most famous tariff war of all in the Great Depression, it didn't actually plausibly directly affect GDP in a major degree. Okay. But it may have had helped destroy confidence and a willingness to plan for the future when there's a trade war. If you're thinking of starting a new exporter, you might say, whoa, wait a minute, let's not do it. Let's wait and see.
Now we're at the low point of the day, but if you're searching for green, then Cadila is a stock that in fact you should be looking at. In fact, Cadila Health, it's got an approval for Toprol XL generic. Ekta joins in to tell us what brokerages are making of it. Ekta.
Well, yes, absolutely. Two brokerage upgrades which have come in for Cadila. I'll start with CLSA, which has upgraded the stock to buy from underperform with the target price of 450 rupees. According to them, they find the current valuations of 21 times FY19, 18 times FY20 quite attractive. The potential earning drivers include the likes of strong US pipeline, improving India and emerging market outlook. Nomura has upgraded the stock to buy with a target price of 426. According to them, the risk reward is favorable for Cadila Cadila. Separately, they have received approval for Toprol XL generic, which is basically used for chest pain, heart failure, high blood pressure, and this is basically an approval from their formulation SEZ in Ahmedabad. It is a positive for Cadila because it also signifies the launch pipeline for them, which is steady in the US markets, and separately it is expected to be around a 4 to 5 player market where Cadila can make around $15 million approximately from this drug.
All right, but that's the only stock which is holding up in the green as we speak. Just keep an eye out on the mid-cap index, 0.5% lower, and a lot of these stocks, they're taking it on the chin. Balrampur Chini at the low point of the day. We have PC Jeweler too at the low point of the day. Along with that, we have Just Dial. That one should come up for you. Ashwani was talking about targets of closer to 350, 370 on that one. That stock too has extended its cut, sitting at the low point of the day. Talking about a lot of these stocks, Torrent Power, that one too is slipped and it has moved to the low point of the day. Adani Power, Adani Ports, all the Adani Group stocks also should come up for you. They've moved to the low point of the day. Not looking so good, Nigel.
Not looking so good, but Mangalam, did you check in on the weekend? No, I'm not going to ask you that question actually. I'm just kidding around. Tell us about Lemon Tree Hotel. I mean, they're coming at peak valuations. I believe it's the IPO that's opened up a subscription today. And at the end of it, you can tell us whether you checked in or not.
So talking about the checking in part, you know, it depends on what duration you're looking to check into Lemon Tree itself. You spoke about peak valuations. If you're staying for longer, maybe the company goes ahead and increases the growth prospects. But for a short term, maybe it's a mid-price hotel, but the IPOs come in at 5-star prices. So that's something we'll keep an eye out on. 1,000 crores they're looking to raise. And most of it is an OFS at a price band of 54 to 56. However, the market cap is close to 4,400 crores is what they're seeking. A couple of things that really stand out. The first one, it's a brand leader in the mid-caps, in the mid-economy space, mid-economy hotel space, and it has a good inventory of close to 4,700 rooms, of which it owns close to 3,200 rooms. And the hotel industry itself is looking good. Taj or Indian Hotels had told us after the third quarter that, you know, occupancy is likely to increase. They have the second highest margins in the industry, but then talking about some cons. Valuations very high, 44 times FY18 EV to EBITDA, much higher than most of the other listed peers. So we'll keep an eye out on what goes forward or how the response to this IPO is. They've raised about 311 crores for anchors.
Okay, all right. Mangalam, thanks so much for that. Well, let's address those exclusive flashes that are for you on the screen. It's been over 2 months since IDBI Federal Life Insurance has been on the block. Yash Jain has been working on that important story. Yash, fill us in. We have the flashes that are running for us on the screen.
Well, two aspects to this particular story. Let me just address the first aspect. As far as acquisition of IDBI Federal Life Insurance is concerned, we are given to understand that two players, Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance as well as Max Life Insurance, are likely to be the top contenders for this acquisition. But apart from that, there is a dark horse also which could be in this particular race. Interestingly, Exide Life Insurance is also one of the companies which is in the fray, and that is the company that we are referring as the dark horse. Why do I say that? Now, to understand that, you'll have to really look at the shareholding pattern of IDBI Federal Life Insurance. IDBI Bank owns about 48%, Federal Bank 26%, and German insurer Bages owns about 26%. Now, what we're given to understand is that Exide Life Insurance has reached out to Aegis Insurance, and this is out of the formal bidding process to essentially establish an agreement whereby Aegis, by exercising its right of first refusal, will be allowed to give an opportunity to Exide Life Insurance to top up the H1 or the highest bidder for the acquisition of IDBI Federal Life Insurance. Why is Aegis only talking to Exide Life Insurance? Here, to understand that, you can essentially look at the players which are in the fray. The top two contenders, for IDBI Federal Life Insurance, which is Max Life and Aditya Birla Sun Life, already have a foreign partner. And if Aegis Life Insurance wants to continue in this IDBI Federal Life Insurance JV, then it will have to look at a company which does not have a foreign partner to not reach the FDI cap, which happens to be, of course, Exide Life Insurance.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Yash, for joining in and giving us those details. Well, keep an eye out on the Nifty. We're down roughly around 25 to around 30 points, but I'm just taking a look at the Nikkei. That market should come up for you. I remember early morning we were tracking that. It was down more than 1%. Now, in fact, that market has moved into the green. So keep an eye out on the Nikkei. It had a horrid trading session in Friday's trade, but today, in fact, it's recovered more than 250 points from the lows. We'll wrap up on Chartbusters.